Welcome to my channel. Today we will discuss about the evaluation of human look around you. Every city, every invention, every piece of art, and every word ever spoken is the result of one extraordinary journey, a journey that began millions of years ago. But where did humans really come from? Did we evolve from monkeys, who were our ancestors? And how did a small group of primates from Africa become the dominant species on Earth? The story of human evolution is not a straight line. It is a complex, fascinating tale filled with extinct relatives, dramatic climate changes, incredible adaptations, and one species that eventually conquered the entire planet. This is the complete story of human evolution. Chapter 1. The beginning of our story, 045 to 145. To understand human evolution, we must travel back nearly 4 billion years. Life on Earth began with simple microscopic organisms living in ancient oceans. Over billions of years, evolution by natural selection transformed these primitive life forms into increasingly complex creatures. About 500 million years ago, vertebrates appeared. Around 360 million years ago, some animals left the water and moved onto land. By 200 million years ago, mammals had emerged. Then, after the extinction of the dinosaurs 66 million years ago, mammals rapidly diversified and spread across the planet. Among them were the early primates, the ancestors of monkeys, apes, and eventually humans. These small tree-dwelling creatures developed forward-facing eyes, flexible hands, and larger brains, giving them a significant advantage in complex environments. The foundations of humanity had been laid. Our common ancestor. One of the biggest misconceptions about evolution is that humans evolved directly from modern monkeys. In reality, humans and monkeys share a common ancestor. Humans are actually more closely related to chimpanzees and bonobos, sharing approximately 98 to 99% of our DNA. Scientists believe that around 7 million years ago, our lineage separated from that of chimpanzees in Africa. Climate changes transformed dense forests into open grasslands, forcing some populations to adapt to entirely new environments. Walking on two legs, known as bipedalism, became one of the most important evolutionary changes in human history. Standing upright allowed early human ancestors to travel long distances, see predators more easily, and free their hands for carrying food and eventually using tools. This single adaptation would change everything. The first human ancestors. Among the earliest known human relatives was Australopithecus. The most famous fossil, known as Lucy, lived approximately 3.2 million years ago in what is now Ethiopia. Lucy stood just over 3 feet tall and had a small brain, but she walked upright much like modern humans. Australopithecines spent time both on the ground and in trees, combining ancient ape characteristics with new human traits. For millions of years, different species of early hominins evolved across Africa. Some survived, many disappeared forever. Human evolution was never a straight ladder leading directly to us. Instead, it resembled a branching tree with countless experiments in survival. Only one branch would ultimately remain. Chapter 4. The Rise of Homo, 430 to 6. Around 2.4 million years ago, a new genus emerged, Homo. One of the earliest members was Homo habilis, often called the handyman. These early humans created simple stone tools, allowing them to cut meat, process plants, and access new food sources. Larger brains began to evolve, providing advantages in problem-solving and social cooperation. Then came Homo erectus. This species represented a revolutionary step in human evolution. Homo erectus possessed longer legs, a more modern body structure, and significantly larger brains. Most importantly, they became the first humans to leave Africa. Beginning nearly 2 million years ago, they spread into Asia and Europe, adapting to diverse climates and environments. Evidence suggests that Homo erectus mastered fire, one of humanity's greatest technological achievements. Fire provided warmth, protection, and the ability to cook food, increasing the nutritional value of meals and potentially supporting further brain development. For over 1 million years, Homo erectus dominated the human story. No human species before or since has survived for such an extraordinary length of time. The world of multiple humans. Modern humans were not alone. The Earth was once home to multiple human species living at the same time. Among the most famous were the Neanderthals. Living throughout Europe and Western Asia, Neanderthals were highly intelligent and remarkably adapted to cold environments. They created sophisticated tools, buried their dead, cared for injured individuals, and may even have produced art and symbolic objects. Far from being primitive cavemen, Neanderthals were successful humans in their own right. Another mysterious group, known as the Denisovans, lived across parts of Asia. Although little is known about them, their DNA still exists in many modern human populations today. Genetic evidence shows that our ancestors interbred with both Neanderthals and Denisovans. In other words, traces of these ancient humans still live within us. Human evolution was not simply replacement, it was also connection and exchange. The rise of Homo sapiens. Our own species, Homo sapiens, emerged in Africa approximately 300,000 years ago. What made Homo sapiens different was not just intelligence, but cooperation. Humans developed complex language, allowing knowledge to be shared across generations. Stories, traditions, and innovations could survive long after individuals were gone. Art appeared, music emerged. Religious beliefs and symbolic thinking transformed human societies. Around 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens began migrating out of Africa. Over thousands of years, humans spread across Asia, Europe, Australia, and eventually the Americas. They crossed mountains, deserts, oceans, and frozen landscapes. Every environment presented new challenges, and every challenge inspired new solutions. Agriculture emerged roughly 12,000 years ago, changing human civilization forever. Permanent settlements developed into villages. Villages became cities. Cities gave rise to nations, empires, science, and technology. The modern world had begun. Conclusion: evolution never stopped. Human evolution is often viewed as something that happened only in the distant past, but evolution never truly stops. Our species continues to adapt to changing environments, diseases, diets, and technologies. The forces that shaped our ancestors still influence us today. From tiny primates living in ancient forests to astronauts exploring space, humanity's journey spans millions of years of survival, innovation, and transformation. The story of human evolution is ultimately the story of all of us. It reminds us that every person on Earth shares a common origin, a connection that reaches back through countless generations to the very beginnings of life itself. And as we look toward the future, one question remains: what will the next chapter of human evolution look like? The story of human evolution is ultimately the story of all of us. It reminds us that every person on Earth shares a common origin, a connection that stretches back millions of years to the very beginnings of life itself. And as we continue to explore our past, one question remains: what will the next chapter of human evolution look like? If you enjoyed this journey through the history of humanity, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who loves science and discovery, and let us know in the comments.